Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Techology. My name is Josh, and I'm here with Kaelan, MinuteAdmin. So pumped to have him on the show. So, Kaelan, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Josh. I appreciate you having me on here. I've watched your videos, and I'm glad to finally be a part of it.
Thank you. Dude, I love your channel. There's some super helpful stuff on there. I love what you're doing for the community right now. And yeah, man, I'm pumped to get to know you a little bit. And so usually with that, man, I kind of like to hear just kind of your story. So like, tell us like, how the heck did you get involved with this like Salesforce thing, and where'd you start from?
Dude, I actually started in, I would say it actually all started in spring break of 2017. So I was doing my master's at the University of Oklahoma, and I was doing my master's in data science. So my undergrad is in economics. My master's is in data science. And I was looking for jobs in data science, but you have to be like a PhD. It's insane. And I was actually dating a girl at the time whose mom on spring break was like, "Hey, Kaelan, you should try and learn Salesforce." And I was like sitting there playing the Xbox or PlayStation or whatever I was playing at their house. And I just said, "Nah, I'm not interested in being a salesperson. I want to do the tech side of things." And she said, "Well, I think, you can do the tech side of Salesforce. It's not just salespeople." And so I just said, all right, well, let's check it out. So like fast forward a week after spring break, she introduces me to one of her connections. I ended up getting an internship in Dallas, Texas. And in that internship in the summer of 2017, I got the Salesforce admin cert and Sales Cloud consultant cert.
Yeah.
And pretty much from there, I really started writing a bunch of articles because I wanted to kind of get out of that internship. And I wrote a bunch of articles on LinkedIn every single day, like everything I was learning from Trailhead. And then actually got noticed by an employer, got a job there. Yeah, and then from there, that employer actually introduced me to Marketing Cloud. So like on my second week at that company, my manager just said, "Hey, Kaelan, we don't have anybody who does Marketing Cloud anymore. A guy left." So I'm an accidental Marketing Cloud guy. You always hear about the accidental admin. So I'm the accidental Marketing Cloud admin, email specialist, consultant, whatever you want to call me. So that's kind of like the beginning of my journey, but everything from there really just kicked off as soon as I started learning Marketing Cloud. The manager at the time was right when she said, "Your career is going to blow up once you learn Marketing Cloud," and really did from there. So
yeah, dude, yeah, that's incredible. I love that you wrote articles to get noticed. Like that is the hustle that people don't do to get to like land gigs. Man, I love that. Yeah, can you talk to us about like why did you do that? What made you go that route?
Well, in my head, I really like at that time in 2017, there wasn't me, there wasn't you. I didn't know about any other, YouTubers. Maybe you were out there. I just didn't know of anybody out there on YouTube and or anywhere else out in the ecosystem besides like the big name MVPs that everybody hears about. But I didn't know what they did to get that far ahead. So only thing I could think of was somebody has to hear about me. If I just stay behind the scenes, if I stay in my room, then nobody's going to know who I am. I didn't think about YouTubing. Actually, no, I did think about YouTube at that time because I had one guy in my corner who said, "Once you come out of college, how impressive would it be if you had a YouTube channel on your business card rather than every other college student who is just, like hire me because I have a high GPA."
Yes.
He's like, "You need to stand out from the crowd." And so I didn't want to start YouTube at that time just because I thought you had to have this fancy camera setup, which in reality, all you have to have is an iPhone.
Yep.
But I realized, the next best thing aside from that is to like kind of create your own blog. And I didn't know how to start a blog. So I said, LinkedIn has its own free version of a blog if you create these articles. And so I just started creating it. And to be honest with you, you can really create whatever you want in life from all this free stuff. Like a YouTube channel is absolutely free. Your phone, it's right there. You don't need to go buy a fancy camera. And then, LinkedIn has its own blog. You don't need to go make a WordPress website. 300 million people are already on it. Yeah. I figured one person's going to see me and noticed me, and then that happened. So,
dude, what a win! Like when I talk to people, I'm like, hey, like. So randomly I'll do interviews, right? Like random companies and things like that. And so I was at an interview, and one of my entire interviews was legit about my YouTube channel, because they had watched all my stuff.
Yeah.
So he asked me for 45 minutes. He asked me about how I got guests, how I covered the things that I covered, how I met all these people. And I'm like, this is the easiest interview like I'm ever going to do. So, I mean, like it is impressive. And it also shows that you care about the community too. You're like, hey, like I want to help people come up like to where I've been. And I love that you did that, man. Yeah. Like if more people follow that advice, like you'll break into the Salesforce industry for sure.
Yeah, it sounded like that interview was more like a consultation session. You were giving them
free YouTube advice.
YouTube advice. Should have charged for it, man.
I should have. Yeah, that was good. I couldn't believe that. And so I people don't understand when I tell them like, hey, my YouTube channel, like even though it's tiny right now, but like it's opened up more doors for me than I know. So I teach at a Coding Bootcamp right now, and I'm a career services mentor on the side. And why? Because they saw that I was already doing it. Like I'm already doing the stuff on my YouTube channel, you know? And so it's kind of a rad, it's just a rad thing, man. And I'm super pumped to hear that. So there's your first gold nugget of the day, right? Like that's a huge win. So Kaelan, like talk us through, what do you do right now and how'd you get there?
So I do a bunch of different things, but my main thing is I'm the Marketing Cloud Program Director at Revolent Group. So basically what that entails is everything Marketing Cloud related, it goes through me. So whether that's Marketing Cloud training programs, whether that is Marketing Cloud tech tasks, or, Marketing Cloud interviewing or interview prep, mock interviews,
right?
Anything that's related to Marketing Cloud, consultancy skills, that runs through me. I train that, I teach that. I get people pretty much from zero to hero. Like you could come in, I could get somebody who, is working flipping burgers at McDonald's and get them into the Marketing Cloud ecosystem, because I just understand the path that it takes to go from not knowing to knowledgeable and being able to actually showcase that knowledge. So that's pretty much what I do, is I get people from not knowing how to use Marketing Cloud, not even knowing what it is, to really feeling confident going onto a client site and really crushing it on client site, and give them that support as well. But also on top of that, like I said, I do a lot of things. I have this YouTube channel, MinuteAdmin, where I teach Marketing Cloud. I also try to sprinkle in, what a day in the life of a Salesforce consultant looks like.
Yeah.
I try to show, what the tech world looks like, how I move and how I operate in the tech world. So, and then also have a website, MinuteAdmin.com, different things like that, where I just try to pump out as much knowledge. I love to teach. I love to give my knowledge, and it's free. It's free to do. You can do it on so many sources for absolutely free. So I do a bunch of everything I do. Pretty much is the same thing, just wrapped in a different format or a different vehicle.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I love that too, man. And so I actually want to talk to you a little bit about Revolent Group, because so Revolent's been around for a little while now, but I don't know what it is, but it seems like there's been a lot more like attention towards it. Like it's growing. I know that. And so that's kind of a rad place to be. So talk to it. Like, what is Revolent Group? Because I, even on one of my previous interviews, I was like asking one of a recruiter, I was like, what is Revolent Group? Do you know what it is? Like, I had no idea. So like, what is it? Like, how does it work? And walk me through that.
Yeah. So, I mean, just think about it like, it's kind of like if you're going through an academy or something like that, and you want to learn Salesforce or, Amazon Web Services or something like that. If you want to learn Salesforce, let's just take Marketing Cloud, for example, and you want to gain real world experience, and you want to actually be able to say to employers, hey, I've been officially trained. I've been, trained by certified instructors. I have been placed on client site, and I've worked with some of the countries and world's biggest users of Salesforce. And this is why I'm, hireable or experienced. Then, Revolent's the place for you to go to, because we essentially take people And by the way, like everything that I do is stamped with the seal of approval by Salesforce themselves. So I'm not just like teaching Marketing Cloud, just like because I know Marketing Cloud. I still was doing that even before Revolent Group, but every instructor that's teaching a class at Revolent is signed, sealed, and delivered from Salesforce University. So basically, you know, Salesforce has like, everybody knows about like the implementation side, but and like the trailhead side, but there's also a Salesforce University, which pretty much like creates all the trailhead material, creates official Salesforce courses. And you have to be certified. Like it's a much longer certification process than like becoming a Salesforce admin or Marketing Cloud admin or something like that. Like it's a 6 to 9 month process.
Dang.
And you have to pretty much, not pretty much, but you have to be able to present the material in the most professional light possible, which means you have to know the material. You have to be able to facilitate classes. So anyways, you know, everybody who's teaching at Revolent, all the L&D instructors are certified to teach these courses.
Wow.
And so essentially you're getting training material from certified Salesforce instructors. Now we work on behalf for Revolent, but you're able to say, if you're going through the cohort, that I was instructed by these instructors, the official training. You know, you were given tech tasks after training to kind of solidify your learning even more, like real world project scenarios, kind of like super badges, but not on the Trailhead platform. Super badges that we've created.
Right.
And then you're able to, you know, understand how to navigate the ecosystem, because now you know Salesforce, but now you need to figure out how do you take what you know technically and present that professionally to a client. And then you go and work for the client. So I don't know if I can say the names of the clients that we work with, but they are amazing clients, big clients. You've definitely heard of them. And if you go and, you know, do the Revolent experience, go through the entire 2 years, then by the time you're finished, you can say you've worked for these clients. And you'll definitely be able to demand the salaries that you want. But, you know, everybody needs that kickstart. I'm not saying Revolent's for every single person in the ecosystem, but it's definitely for people who do see value in what I just promoted there and what I just talked about. But, you know,
so let me get this.
It's basically a place for you to gain that experience.
Yeah, let me get this straight. So like, is Revolent? So Revolent's kind of like, you know, I'm a developer, right? And I started in a coding bootcamp. So Revolent is like, when you sign up for Revolent, it's kind of like a coding bootcamp, except for not only do they do the teaching, but then they also give you real life jobs. Is that true?
Yeah, real.
So you're building experience as you're working there and learning.
Exactly. So you build that experience, you get the certification. So let's just say, for example, if you're going through the Marketing Cloud program, right, the one that I teach, you would get the Marketing Cloud Email Specialist certification. You would get the Marketing Cloud Administrator certification, and then you would do some tech tasks. So we would assess you on AMP script, SQL. Those are the two biggest things because those are big pieces of Marketing Cloud. And then, I would test you on that, give you access to be able to, go in and play in that area of Marketing Cloud. And then also just test your knowledge and allow you to kind of be quizzed and be pushed to see if you understand the whole Marketing Cloud ecosystem. And then from there, after that quote unquote boot camp, you'll be placed with a client. So more than likely, if you're coming into Revolent, you're probably already going to be pre-placed. Like you're already going to kind of know who you're going to be placed with before that 12 weeks is over. Now, obviously things could change. There might be one situation where you may not be placed with the client, but more than likely, 99% likely you'll be placed with the client. And by the time that training is over, you're ready and skilled up, ready to go work for that client. And then, like you said, get that experience. Now you're in Marketing Cloud every single day, working on real projects.
Wow.
That's you summed it up in quick 20 seconds, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because that's so once again, I work for a coding bootcamp and helping people land, and also with my Salesforce channel and like helping people through the Salesforce, like landing that job. It's like experience is king. Like it doesn't to an extent, like a lot of people have, certifications. A lot of people have all that kind of stuff. And when if you show up like with, no, I have a year's of experience, like, man, like you're like that's so much worth so much, not only for your salary, but just for even landing that job. That's huge. So like, how much does this thing cost? So is it cost, like how much, what does it look like to pay for this?
So Revolent doesn't cost anything to anybody. Yeah. So if you're going through Revolent, you're not paying for it. Yeah. That's the answer.
In the coding bootcamp world, like it's 15 grand, right? Like, I mean, there's a way big difference, but the average cost is like in that $15,000 and sometimes you can pay it at the end of your boot camp or after you land a job or slowly. Yeah. So, okay. So you're getting real life experience and training. So this training too is also, this is like, if we signed up for like those super expensive Salesforce classes, like those are also certified Salesforce instructors. So like, this is the same level training that you get for free for in some way.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, you hit it right on the head right there. Yeah, you're getting the same exact level of training. I try to obviously, go above and beyond. I try not to just be your average instructor, who's going by the book. Every day in class, I really try to make sure that whatever I'm teaching you, I give real world examples. So, I mean, we've all taken like an econ class or some class where an instructor is like, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the monotonous guy that, you don't want to listen to. They're making the most basic examples. They're reading straight from the textbook. That's not me. Like, and whenever I teach, I'm going to make sure that, if you don't get it, I'm going to give you an example. Like, for example, like there was a rebel who didn't really understand what was, like how the exam was really outlined, how the exam was structured. So I just made a completely new exam outline that you could find on Trailhead. I actually have a video about it. It's on my channel, but it's basically like how to actually study for the exam, but thinking as if you work for Tesla. So like thinking about if you were to be doing a marketing cloud project for Tesla, I pretty much broke it down like, hey, if you're working for Tesla and you had the exam outline as the only thing you could do to complete this project, how would you complete the project? And I just broke it down. I'm not going to be the instructor that's like, well, since we're going by this, one specific piece of criteria, you've got to follow this rule. You got to. No, it's like, listen, man, if you don't get it, I'm going to give you a Tesla example. I'm going to give you a Nike example. I'm going to give you, Adidas, and really try to just break it down for you. So, but that's every instructor's different, obviously, but you're getting a different experience at Revolent because we're, just cool people.
That's crazy, man. So like, what is about experience? Like how much experience do you need to apply? Is it competitive to get into the program? Like, what does that look like?
So, obviously you've got to apply on, the Revolent website, apply for the program you really want to be a part of. We really try not to make the cohorts huge. I think even Salesforce tries not to make their their classes beyond like 16 or 20 people or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, it's got to have a very good student to instructor ratio. You don't want to have like 30 or 40 people in a class and just have me be bombarded or anything like that, because then I won't be able to teach you that well because I'll be getting so many questions. But to speak on like the competitiveness part, to be honest with you, that is an answer I really couldn't give the best answer on that, just because I don't know what that process is like for somebody who's coming in as a student, because I haven't gone through that process and seen how competitive it is. But, if you have some sort of, tech background or tech skills or understand what you're talking about in the tech ecosystem, you've probably got a good fighting chance to be able to at least get into an interview. Okay. But as with any interview, I've seen some of your videos before. As with any interview, you just got to relate to the person. Competitiveness in any job industry is about like, how well do you actually build rapport? How well do you speak with people?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people get hung up on the whole, I've got this many certs, I've got this many years of experience.
Totally.
I've got this. And it's really not about that. People hire people they like. You know? So
I totally agree with you.
That's my answer.
Yeah, like for me, like when I'm interviewing people, like the number one question in my head as the hiring manager now, like I'm like the number one question in my head is I'm like, can I see myself working with this person? We had someone come through our interview process. It just kind of they just felt a little negative, like and kind of dark humor-ish, and I have plenty of dark humor, and I share like memes and GIFs and all that stuff. I love all that stuff, right? Like the internet lingo. But my point is like I was like, man, if I bring him on the team, like, is he gonna do okay? Like, am I gonna have to like be cleaning up messes after him? Like, or will he become like a mentor and really help people through the process and stuff? So I had to, I totally agree with that. Interviewing is a completely different skill set than your Trailhead expertise or your Salesforce expertise. So, that's awesome.
Yep.
And so, okay. So we talked about experience and applying, and now I've been hearing this thing about like, there's like a contract that you like are working for Revolent Group. Can you walk me through like how does that 2 year? I heard it's 2 years. I don't know, but how does that 2 year contract time work?
So obviously that's like like all HR legal stuff. So I'm gonna go like super high level because I have zero idea how the whole 2 year contract thing works because I'm not HR, I'm not legal. I am the marketing cloud instructor. So I'm just going to basically say, they will tell you everything that is required in the interview process. Whenever you're first talking with a recruiter, they'll let you know exactly what you're going to be signed up for. But yeah, what I'm aware of is that it is a 2 year commitment, to where, once you're basically saying it like this: for 12 weeks, I'm going to basically get 2 to 3 highly valuable certifications. You're going to teach me, how to get these certifications, what exactly to study. I'm not going to waste my time for 6 to 8 months going and trying to study for the certifications on my own. Or, you literally just saved yourself possibly 6 to 8 months of study time. If compared to if you didn't have it. So, instructor-led training. So you're pretty much saying, I'm doing that, and I'm getting immediately after I get those certifications, I'm going to work with some of the world's, literally not even just the world's like biggest Salesforce users, like some of the biggest brands in the world. So, some of the biggest brands, some of the biggest consulting companies in the world. And, it's a 2 year commitment. That's all I can say. You're getting an amazing deal out of it. Like for most people starting off in the Salesforce ecosystem, they're trying with volunteer projects, or they're just trying to like create their own app in their Trailhead playground, or, they were watching YouTube videos. I mean, imagine you had like 15 other people that you're working alongside with that are going through the same journey you are. Yeah. You've got that group, you've got that team. I'm all about team. So if I've got like 15 other people that are working alongside with me at the same time to study for a cert, I'm going to utilize that. And, we're probably going to work together too. I'm very competitive. So I'm going to be like, I'm going to probably make a competition out of it and say, I'm going to get my cert before you. Okay. But I say all that to say, you're getting an amazing deal out of it for this 2 year commitment, and you're getting 2 years of real world project experience. I mean,
that's huge. That's huge. In my own journey at about, on my first job, I was a junior Salesforce developer. I made $55K a year. And I stayed in there for about a year and a half. And then I would and even then I wasn't sure I was still so I feel like that 2 year mark is like, you have moved from, year and a half, 2 year mark from junior nobody wants you to like to now like my job after a year and a half was a mid-level Salesforce developer, and I know that varies like at different companies and blah blah blah, but that was that. So it feels like that's like the time frame, right? As like that 2-year thing. Now I had another question. They get paid by you guys, right? Like, is that true? Like, or they get paid for the projects they're working on, right? Is that true?
So that's also something I can't really speak on because I just don't know exactly what everybody is. I literally have never asked. So you're just going to have to ask your recruiter and see whatever the compensation is, whatever it may be.
Yeah, just talk to whoever is you're kind of working with or whatever. Ask those questions in the beginning. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then but we can't ignore the controversy. Like, there's some people that are like angry at Revolent or whatever for whatever reason, and they don't like the idea, right? And so what would you say to them, man? Like, how would you just like respond to like there's probably not a ton of it, but there are some people like on Reddit or whatever, although people on Reddit are always angry. But like, that are saying some stuff. So like, how would you respond to some of that, man? What would you say?
Well, the first response I would give is I didn't even know people were even angry about it. So I didn't even know people were even talking about it like that anyways. I mean, to be honest with you, for me, I really don't even pay attention to a lot of social media, including Reddit. So that's the reason why I really would not even know that. I really try to be a producer and create and give back. So I don't really I read comments and in a different way, but I'm not really on Reddit like that. But
sure.
I'm going to say obviously there's always going to be polarity behind any business. Like, there's people who hate Nike. There's people who love it. There's people who, hate Salesforce and who love Salesforce. So I'm not trying to win anybody over. It's a great opportunity. I love working for Revolent. Like, I literally just filled out my Glassdoor review and I gave nothing but 5 stars. I love the CEO. I love the CFO. I love the CTO. I love our president, Nabila. I love my managers. I mean, literally, I was just telling somebody who just got hired today that, like, they asked me, what do you love the most about working here? And I was just like, the culture. The culture is amazing. And I wouldn't be saying that. Like, I've worked at some companies where the culture was trash. It was trash, dude. And like, I would try to talk about sports at one of my other place I worked at. I'm not going to name the names.
Sure.
I'd try to talk about sports and they'd be like, ooh, what's that? Like, ooh, we don't like football or whatever. Like they would just like make jokes and I'd be like, I got to get out of here. Like, it's like you said, you can't work with people you don't like,
True.
And
Very true.
love the people I work with. I love, it's just an amazing place. So to be honest with you, I don't have an answer for people who hate on stuff that don't even aren't even involved in it. They just heard about it.
Sure.
That's just how I operate, man.
I'm with you, man. Like, I hate people that they're like great at throwing rocks, but not great at building anything, right? Like, they're out there throwing rocks at people that are actually making moves, that are actually doing stuff. It's like, hey, like, why don't you do something and see, like, let me know how it goes, for sure. I'm totally with you, man.
Exactly.
I mean, the way I kind of view this thing is like coding bootcamps have like this, like, like they have the income share agreements. They have all this stuff of like different ways to like pay for your coding bootcamp, right? But they don't give you experience, like, or they don't give you like real world working for another company experience. Like, and so that's a game changer right there. But yeah, man, that's awesome. So I want to talk about Marketing Cloud for a second, because I know, so Marketing Cloud I might have been like, I don't know where I was in the ecosystem. Maybe I was just learning heads down a little bit, but like Marketing Cloud seems like it's growing a ton. And so can you like speak to that? Is that true? I mean, that's what I'm seeing on job postings right now.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think I was talking to somebody at Salesforce, and they were saying that Marketing Cloud is growing. It's like the 3rd largest, like, platform in like the Salesforce ecosystem. Like the 3rd largest, fastest growing cloud in the ecosystem. Wow. I think it's behind Sales Cloud. Everybody knows Sales Cloud.
Sure.
It's like the Salesforce Admin Cert. Service Cloud. That's still like Sales Cloud, just with service features. So that's all like the Salesforce admin side, but then you have Marketing Cloud, which is like I mean, think about it like this. I was just telling my aunt this yesterday or 2 days ago. I was telling her, I said, think about every company has to have what? They have to have sales and marketing.
Yep.
They have to. You have to. And think about if you have every company that is using Salesforce. I think there's like 285,000 companies that use Salesforce around the world. So if you have all those companies that are probably already using like Sales Cloud, a majority are probably using Sales or Service Cloud.
Sure.
And you think about like brand, right? Like Apple. I don't have an Apple Watch yet, but I'm probably going to get an Apple Watch. I've got the AirPods, I've got the iPhone, I've got the Mac that I'm on.
Sure.
It's brand.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So most companies that are already using this brand, Salesforce, are going to end up using Marketing Cloud. And Marketing Cloud connects perfectly with Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Commerce Cloud. It's just called Marketing Cloud Connect. You just configure that. It takes like a day. Boom, it's connected. They talk to each other. So most companies are realizing that, and they're already in the Salesforce ecosystem. So I can see that's probably why Marketing Cloud's growing so fast, because it's sales and marketing, you know, like you've got to have both to really to succeed as a company.
Yeah. Are you seeing like even your students and stuff, like, are they able to land jobs like in Marketing Cloud and stuff? And are you seeing like people kind of, you're seeing that kind of grow, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, most of the students that come in are already pre-booked. So I haven't run too many Marketing Cloud cohorts yet to have like a big number, but everybody that I've already trained has been placed.
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, companies all around the world are using Marketing Cloud. Like I got approached by a guy in the UK from my YouTube channel. He just literally, I think he left me a comment on my channel, or he sent a LinkedIn or some sort of like email or something, and he was like, "Hey man, I saw your channel. We use Marketing Cloud. Can you help us out? We'll pay you like a consultancy fee." And I was like, "Yeah, let's see what you have." And so it's just like people around the world are using Marketing Cloud. You just got to get in the ecosystem, you know?
So Marketing Cloud, one of the things that I learned about Marketing Cloud though, is that, like, when I was looking at like Trailhead and stuff like that, like it didn't seem like there was like a ton of like, I want to learn Marketing Cloud, like, but like the Trailhead seemed like kind of light on some Marketing Cloud stuff. And like, how do I get started? How do I like learn this thing? Like, where do you get your information from and stuff like that?
Yeah, man. So, you know, that was my issue when I first started out. You know, there was literally almost zero documentation. There was definitely not any Trailhead. So best place to really go. I mean, my channel is full of Marketing Cloud, like projects, just scenarios. So you could always go to my channel at MinuteAdmin. I'm also going to include a special link for all of your listeners here. So you guys can click that link down below. I'm going to show you just really like the most common Marketing Cloud questions, like how do you get started? What's this like average salary of someone who starts off in Marketing Cloud? What are the type of jobs that are out there? You know, how do you actually learn Marketing Cloud without access to Marketing Cloud? You know, like how do you even go about even learning it? I've got a framework that I've used for a bunch of different people who didn't have access to Marketing Cloud. So all of that stuff is going to be included in that link that I'm going to give you, give everybody in this, you know, in this video. So that should be in the description below. I'm calling it right now the Kaelan Moss Challenge because I have a goal myself to get 1,000 people into the Marketing Cloud space, at least get you introduced to the Marketing Cloud space. So my goal right now in life is I want to get 1,000 people introduced into it. And I've got the Kaelan Moss Challenge. So I'm just really trying to keep track of, you know, how many people go through that. And so I'll have a link to that. Yeah.
Marketing. I mean, like I said, I checking out job postings and stuff, and people are like, Marketing Cloud seems like it's blowing up. Like it's even, you know, if it's the third fastest growing, I mean, eventually it's going to reach a point where it's like, we need professionals. This is a great thing to jump into. I want to talk about, I mean, I know that you kind of help people land jobs, right? At Revolent, and I help people land jobs. I want to pick your brain on some, like, because the hardest part is breaking into the ecosystem, which is why I kind of like that, you know, that you guys give experience, because that's king above even certs and trails and stuff like that. But I would love to know, man. So like, if Kaelan's giving Kaelan advice, about jumping into the Salesforce space and world, what would that look like? Like, can you tell me, like what advice would you give yourself kind of jumping into that?
I would just say be yourself. I know you probably hear that all the time. Whoever's listening, you probably hear that all the time. But I'm telling you, and I was just telling you about my aunt. And my aunt, she, she's a black lady. I'm half black, and growing up, I'm sure a lot of people from minority groups. Whether you're Mexican, black, Asian, whatever it is. You don't really see people that are like you in these types of jobs, So, I mean, my aunt literally was messaging my mom and I and she was like, I'm tearing up right now because I've never seen a panel of speakers be all women and also be like minorities, like not, not white men. Nothing against white men. I'm half white too. Sure. So there's nothing, I'm not have anything against, I'm black and white. But when she said that, I was like, dang, that really hit, because all I'm doing is I'm being myself. Like, I'm not sitting here wearing some suit and tie. I'm wearing my boy's brand right here. We're not, you're wearing, some nice t-shirt. We're just being ourselves. And
for sure.
I think the biggest piece of advice here is really show up, be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. I work with people who have long beards. I work with people who are tatted, like yatted all the way from the front to the back,
Yeah.
And, me, I don't have any tattoos. I do wear earrings at times. I still promote that. I mean, I don't promote it, but I still wear it in my videos. If you're like that, you want to rock the wild hairdo, but you're good at what you do it. I think everybody has a position in this era of humanity to be whoever the heck they want to be. Just listen to 𝐥𝐤𝐬 for like 10 minutes, listen to him for a day, and you just realize like we're living in the internet era. If a company doesn't like you because you're, a certain skin color, or you don't fit the mold, or you don't look the part, or you don't drive this car, you don't, you have tats, or you have earrings, or you like to wear a chain, like, okay, next, like hit the Ariana Grande, thank you, next, and go to the next, because there's so many companies that are looking for people who have the skills. So I would just say that's my biggest piece of advice is don't break who you are to try to get a job out here in the ecosystem. Like, there's so many different jobs. The tech world is way bigger than you think it is. You just have to put yourself out there. That's why I started off by saying, write those articles, get noticed, get seen. If you're just sitting behind the doors, sitting behind closed doors and you're never getting noticed, then nobody's ever going to see you. That's like trying to go out on a date, me trying to go and find a girlfriend, and, I'm just sitting behind these four walls, You got to go out there, put yourself out there. So that my biggest piece of advice, be yourself. Just like people say, be yourself when you go out to date somebody. Same thing is go out and be yourself when you try to find these Salesforce jobs. Because you're not going to be happy if you're trying to change who you are. So that's I know it's not like professional advice, but it's just like life advice, because I'm so happy with where I'm at, and everybody accepts me for who I am, what I do, how I speak. And
that's real. It's real, man. Like, some people are stuck in, I like these jobs that like their bosses treat them like crap. And like, I'm hearing horror stories of like people, being berated and embarrassed, like in front of their coworkers and all this stuff, or the hard work they put in, someone else gets credit. And I'm like, that's wild to me. Like, you can't stay there. Like, you need to go somewhere and find a place that will really value you. And I found that in the tech world, like when you come with a skill set, it's kind of like, fire me. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll get a job tomorrow. Like, like, fire me. Like, it's fine. Like, obviously we're trying to work for the best kind of company and stuff, but
for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're respectful, like, I was just going to add one, as long as you're respectful, long as you're professional with it. I mean, I always thought to myself, why is it that someone who has earrings or crazy hair, I always thought that in school, like, what is a mohawk going to do to like not get you a good grade? Like they always were like, you can't wear mohawks in school or you can't wear colored hair in school. And I'm like, but to be honest with you, that's just from so many generations passed down of how things should be. And I think with the tech world is so young anyways, and all the people out that do everything are in Silicon Valley. Just look at how they dress in Silicon Valley. If you just look at how these people on Google dress or Facebook, you'll start to realize like these are the people who started these tech companies, and they're not even dressing like in suits and ties. So why do you have to? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like if that's your style, do it, but be yourself, Like I'm not saying how you should dress. I'm just saying stay unique, stay yourself, and don't switch up for anybody.
Yeah, I love that. So what are some interesting ways you've seen people like break into the ecosystem? I know your story is a great example, but what are some other ways?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, it's just really through networking. It's really through connections. I mean, like the biggest way to break into the ecosystem, you got to put in the work too, like you got to start off. And I think the best skill set you can have is just showing that you're resourceful and like you can go out and find the answers to things, whether that's on Trailhead, help.salesforce.com, through blogs, through YouTube. I mean, everything is just a Google search away. So if you find yourself like always asking people the answer to something, I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't know how much luck you're going to have in the Salesforce ecosystem, because in the Salesforce world, you have to be good at finding the answers. You got to be good at researching and being able to say, like, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to do a quick Google search and I'm going to scour the web. So for people who are breaking in, I would just say showcase that you're resourceful. And I think the best way to do that is really, like I said, just like get your name out there. I equate everything back to real life examples. Like I said, even in my cohorts, like if you're trying to go date somebody and you're trying to break into the dating scene, you're trying to get noticed, you have to start going to church. You got to start going to like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you got to go from church to like networking events, to bars, to clubs, to, like join meetup groups. You have to start, like, if you like biking, you're going to have to go join a biker group or whatever, like, you're going to have to put yourself out there. So I try to relate everything back to that. Like, what would you do in real life to break yourself into the scene? And in the real world, or in the job world, you got to just treat it like the real world, which, I mean, it is. And got to put yourself out there, go to groups. I know I'm not giving like anything specific, but like on September 23rd, I'm doing like a networking event out here in Dallas, Texas. And who knows where that's going to take me, that, you know what I mean? And, who knows who I'll meet. So I would just say, go to the user group meetups, all that Salesforce has to offer, join every user group that you can, whether it's virtual or in person, have something to talk about on Twitter, get people to start retweeting or liking your stuff and start conversations, comment on everything. Like, leave comment. If you don't know what to say, like if you don't know what to post on LinkedIn or Twitter or something, just respond to the comments section and start making friends in the comments section. And you'll start to get in there. It's a process, just like, anything else is.
Yeah. I'd love to know too, like, what are like maybe it doesn't have to be 3, but it just seems like a good number. The top 3, like maybe mistakes you see when people are trying to like land their first gig or in Salesforce. What would that look like?
I personally think they try to get too much experience. Now, I think experience has a fine balance, because here's the thing. Experience is only important if you know how to talk about that experience, if you know how to present that experience. So there's a lot of people with experience. Like, let's say there's somebody who's got 10 years of experience, but when you talk to them, they don't make eye contact with you. They don't want to speak, or they don't present it to you. That's like, obviously, like, you're not getting anything out of somebody like that. Then the second thing is, let's say take it a level above, where it's like you've got somebody who's got 5 years of experience and they can kind of articulate what they did a little bit, but they don't have their story together. They don't have any projects that they really remember. Then you've got somebody who's got like 6 months of experience, and they can tell you everything they did. They can tell you how they learned it. They can tell you why it was important. They can tell you how they grew from that experience. They have PowerPoint presentations ready. They have referrals ready. They have, people who are there to actually like back up that they actually did this stuff. That right there is a completely different way of approaching getting a job. Like you could have, like I said, you could have that person who's got 10 years of experience. They're more than qualified, but they don't know how to present that. And they don't know how to showcase that to an employer. It doesn't matter what you've done. It's like the old saying goes, like, take pictures to prove that you were there. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they say like post pictures or you weren't actually there. Like you can go and travel the world, and what's it going to matter if you don't even remember the memories because you didn't take a picture? You know what I mean? Like it's good to have it in your head, but the same goes with, if you want to get a job, if you're all about the experience, but you can't pull it out of your head, if it's all in your head and you can't pull it out and you can't express that you actually did this thing, it doesn't matter because you're working with a human being and you've got to be able to present that to them. So I think don't take too much like exposure on experience. Get good at actually talking about what you've learned. Even if all that is trailhead. Get good at talking about that and presenting how you grew from not knowing anything to how you're now understanding what a permission set is, what a profile is, what a record type is, what a page layout is, where to find it, how to create a lightning homepage. Like, even if all you did was a super badge, you can talk about your experience. You don't need 5 years to understand Salesforce.
Yeah, dude, that's great, man. I just try to tell people, like, some of your job search time needs to, like, so a lot of people like some of my other YouTube videos where it's like I'm doing interviews and like there's like, and I'm failing or I'm winning or whatever. And I have some other like interviews I've done with people like that. And those are okay, right? Like you can study with those, but like you also have to know, like, know the basic questions. Like everyone's going to ask you, tell me about yourself. How will you answer that? Like, and what will you say? Like, how will you say that? Tell me, a lot of people are going to ask you, tell me about your strengths and your weaknesses. Like, and so you're like, okay, like, how do I answer that? Like thinking through that and putting energy into like how you answer those questions is just as huge to me, because like the way I tell people, like when I'm talking to them about like their job search, I'm like, hey, I'm going to say 80% of your interviews are non-technical, and they're more so, this is what my experience, they're more so about who you are as a person, if they like you, how you present yourself, things like that. And those are the things that they're trying to get. What kind of culture does this person have? Is he going to be a good fit for this role, for this company? And if 80% of your interviews are that, like, and 20% of your interviews are very technically focused. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to talk about projects you've done and other stuff like that. But man, like spend a lot of your time also grooming those skills where you can talk to yourself. And when I was like in an interview process, man, like I would be driving, talking to myself. So Josh, tell me about yourself. So let me tell you, my name's Josh, and I live in Northern California. And I'm a Salesforce developer. Like I just do that, right? And I don't know. People think I might be like rapping or singing or whatever they think. I don't know what they think, right? But like I'm always doing that because like I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself well. Yeah. So that's great advice, man. For sure.
I've actually never reviewed like the types of questions that I want to go over. Like, I mean, but like I said, I'm just trying to be me, and sure. I don't think for me personally, and this is nothing against what you just said or anything, but I think that for me, like I know what I've done, like I'm not making up a story. I'm not making up any, like, even when I first started off in the Salesforce ecosystem, like, and I was writing those articles in the first like 2 or 3 months, and I had very little experience. When I went in for my interview, I was like, this is what I know. I learned it from Trailhead. I've got experience doing it. Like I just said it. I just literally spoke from my spirit. I spoke from my soul. Like I was being honest, you know? And at the end of the day, most of these Salesforce jobs, unless you're like a product owner or a manager, you're going to be managing people or being a team lead. You just need to know how the system works. And like you said, be a good fit to the culture. And just be honest. Like if you have zero experience and you literally just like got started yesterday, then it's not going to happen.
For sure.
You know, like even if you just have done 5 super badges or 3 super badges and you really know what's going on with those super badges and you can talk about how you did those projects, I'm telling you, that's enough to get a job because that'd be like me saying, hey, can you navigate YouTube? Can you go to the search bar and go to YouTube, or can you go to Facebook and can you create a new group, or can you add a new friend? You just know the platform. You know how to navigate the platform. You know where to go.
Right.
The beautiful thing about Salesforce is it's all clicks, not code, until you get into the developer side. And that's what they really stress is like declarative over programmatic first, you know?
Yeah.
And like if I had an interview with you and I said, hey, do you know how to use Facebook? And you just walked me through like, yeah, I've done Facebook. I've added people. I've created groups. I've created pages. Then I'd be like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. I'll teach them what they need to know, you know, on the job. And that's pretty much what it's like. I don't think you know, I really don't think there's too much that should go into like getting a, you know, Salesforce job, other than just being honest about your experience and showing how you could actually do the job.
Yeah. Kind of last 2 questions, man, just to honor your time. You know, I want to talk about the competitiveness of landing like that first gig. It seems like there is some competitiveness, and you know, like how have you seen that? Have you seen that growing? And also, like, how would you overcome that? If you were, you know, doing that all over again?
Yeah, I mean, there's competitiveness. I would say a lot of competitiveness is coming into like when everybody hears about Salesforce, they hear of being a Salesforce admin or getting the platform app builder certification or platform developer 1 cert. That's why I'm trying to really show people not just Marketing Cloud. There's way less competition in Marketing Cloud. Like, I mean, it's a supply and demand curve. It's like the more supply there is, the less of demand, right? The less like you're going to get paid because there's so many people who can do something. Marketing Cloud, since you don't have access to the system, like there's not as many people who are just going on Trailhead and just creating a Trailhead playground. So there's way less competition. So I try to tell people not only that, but I try to tell them like learn Pardot, learn CPQ, learn Field Service Lightning, learn Omni Studio, learn MuleSoft, like learn these things that people aren't talking about, because like most of what people are talking about when they hear Salesforce is the Salesforce admin. Like that's like when you hear about a car, when you hear about a luxury car, what's the first car you think of? Like Mercedes, BMW, you know, like you're not thinking about, you know, going and getting a Jaguar or a Fiat or something like that, you know? Yeah. And it's like, just think like what people aren't going towards is still just as valuable, probably even more valuable right now because there's less people, you know? So to speak on the competition, I would say start looking at the different products that Salesforce offers, get good at one of those products and then get your foot in the door with that. And you're specialized, you're good, and people are going to need you.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. Yeah, and I guess I love that. I fully support that. I feel like, you know, it's better to be amazing at one thing because that's what the company's hiring you for, right? Like we need someone who knows Marketing Cloud. It's great to be amazing at that than be mediocre at like 8 things. And so I totally agree with that. And I guess my last question, man, would be like, if you could give like your best, like maybe your best 1 or 2 tips on like, you know, landing a job, like what would you say? Like, have you done anything special on your resume or anything like that? I just would love your kind of best of for that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the whole like be seen. Like, keep getting seen, keep getting noticed. Like, the more you do that, the more you'll realize most people aren't doing that. Like, I don't care if you start a YouTube channel. I don't care if you start writing on LinkedIn as a professional author. You could just, like I said, leave comments in the comment section and just respond to everybody. You could you could DM 50 people a day with a video message. Like, how many, I've gotten so many messages from people on LinkedIn that are just like, hey, Kaelan, great to connect with you. I'm so numb to that now. And so I saw this guy, he messaged me, and he wasn't even like, he was offering some like financial wisdom or something like that. But he pulled out his phone and he did a video, and it was like the feature you could do. It was like some video DM feature you could do on LinkedIn. And I was like, I'm really about to call this guy. I'm really about to like, I have to, because his brain thinks different. He thinks so different. And so I would say, once again, be unique. If you have a skill to write on LinkedIn. If you have a skill and you're, you know, whatever your strengths are, play to your strengths. I don't like playing to weaknesses. Like, play to your strengths. God gave you strengths. Play to those bad boys and take those to the end of the earth. And dude, like that's my advice. I really like. More you hear me talk, you know, speaking to you, Josh, and speaking to everybody here, more you hear me talk, the more you'll hear the same thing over and over again, because like, my truth is just my truth. You know, it's like, this is what worked for me. This is what worked for my sister. This is what worked for my mom. Like, this is what worked for, I literally got my mom a 6-figure Salesforce job or marketing cloud. I helped get my sister an amazing internship coming out of college for Marketing Cloud. Like, and I just gave them the same exact knowledge. I just kept repeating it over to them. And it works, man. It works. Be yourself. Awesome. Yeah, dude. All right. I mean, just Kaelan, you have like given so much gold. Like, there's if people take a couple of things that you said today and apply to their job search, I have no doubt that it will like absolutely revolutionize how many callbacks they're getting, who's reaching out to them, and what opportunities they have, man. So that was awesome. Well, Kaelan, man, I want to give you an opportunity to like just rep your own stuff. Like, tell us how we can find you online. Where can we find you, and how do we get in touch with you? Yeah, so if you guys are seeing my name down here in the bottom left of my screen, Kaelan Moss MinuteAdmin, that's exactly what my channel is called. So you could just type in MinuteAdmin, hit that subscribe button, follow me on, you know, LinkedIn. You know, my name's just Kaelan Moss on LinkedIn. So I'm going to include all the links and everything in the description. But YouTube here, LinkedIn, Kaelan Moss. I'm not on Twitter that much, but you can follow me at MinuteAdmin, MinuteAdmin, because I couldn't put the word admin in there for some reason. Instagram, Kaelan Moss. And then also, you know, like I said, if you want to keep up with me in terms of like just in my newsletter, you can sign up in that link below. I'm going to give that Kaelan Moss challenge because I want 1,000 people to be introduced to Marketing Cloud. And you'll learn about what Marketing Cloud is, how to actually do all the Marketing Cloud projects you'll need to do, and really how to set yourself up on LinkedIn to really succeed. So, so good, man. Yeah. All those links will be included too. Yeah. Kaelan, I just want to say thank you so much, man, for your time tonight and hanging out with us. And I think people are going to super benefit from this, man. So thank you once again, and thanks for hanging out. Thanks for having me, Josh. Appreciate it.